2022, the state legalized possession of cannabis, and my wife and I had been looking for a business. And so when this happened, we saw an opportunity, took some selling. My wife, she was actually the youth prevention coordinator for Milaca Public Schools. And so when I brought the idea up to her, hey babe, let's start this, this cannabis shop. She said, are you crazy? Like, you know what I do. Who better than us? We've sold 90-year-old women sleep gummies, things like that. But that generation really has that stigma against it. They are really kind of, this is very bad. Your generation is a bit more accepting. It's been around. It hasn't necessarily been accepted socially. That next generation is even more so. Now it's even more accepted. These people are growing up with stores everywhere.
Right.
It's been legal since they've been children.
On today's podcast, we have Joe from the Mellow Fellow. He's going to talk about the different kinds of CBD, THC, the laws, new regulations, and ways you can enjoy it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Princeton Podcast, your go-to source for everything happening in and around Princeton. Join your hosts, Zach, Mary, and Kim, three locals who live and work right here in Princeton, as we bring you the latest events, exclusive interviews with local businesses, and stories that make our town special. Your community, your stories, your podcast.
Well, hey, Joe.
Hi.
We are so excited to have you.
Thank you. Yeah. So happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me and let me talk a little bit about the Mellow Fellow and who we are and what we do.
You started in Milaca.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. So 2022, the state legalized possession of cannabis. And from there, it kind of opened the door to the different edibles that we were allowed to sell and things like that. And my wife and I had been looking for a business or trying to start something. We were kind of ready to just, take the next step. And so when this happened, we saw an opportunity. It took some selling. My wife, she was actually the youth prevention coordinator for Milaca Public Schools for tobacco and nicotine products. And so she had an office at the school and created this youth group that, the main goal of it all was to keep these products out of the hands of children. And so when I brought the idea up to her, hey babe, let's start this, this cannabis shop. She said, are you crazy? Like, you know what I do. And I had to kind of sell her on the idea. Who better than us?
Right.
If it's not us, somebody that lives in this community, cares about our youth and cares about, the mission of keeping these products out of the children's hands, it's going to be somebody coming up here and opening a store from the Twin Cities that doesn't live here, isn't really invested in the community, and doesn't have the same passion that we do. And so that really kind of won her over. She was on board 100% after that, and things moved really quickly. We opened up our first store in November of 2022, so just celebrated our 3-year anniversary up in Milaca.
Wow.
Oh, so you're at both. You're still in Milaca and
correct.
Princeton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we had a really successful first year, and so many customers from Princeton were coming up, and we realized shops were starting to pop up everywhere. Gosh, it's only a matter of time before one opens up in Princeton. And so we started looking for locations. We found a great spot in the Princeton Mall that worked out really well. And we opened our Princeton store in, June of 2024. So it was just about 16 months after we opened our Milaca location.
It was the Rum River Festival.
Yes.
The first year of the Giant Duck, and that was their opening day. That was their big grand opening, and Jesse Ventura came, and
Yeah, what a cool kind of fit that was, because we had selected that June opening date of this is when it's going to work, and then we realized, oh my gosh, the Duck's going to be in the parking lot that day. So it was kind of a natural fit.
Yep.
And then you're exactly right. We had the opportunity to have Jesse Ventura, who, former governor and marijuana advocate, had just launched his own line of products with his gummies and chocolate bars and things like that. So he was touring, local stores here in Minnesota, and had reached out hey, we'd love to come visit your customers. And I said, oh, perfect timing. Our grand opening is happening. And, they had originally wanted to come to Milaca, but no, let's come to Princeton instead. Let's create a little splash here with everything going on. And it worked out great. I mean, that first weekend, we had a line of customers that were like looped around our store and out the door, and it was to meet Jesse and purchase some of his products. And then, of course, there was the duck outside.
Yep.
So it was really,
I know, it was really cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great fit for us and a perfect way to kind of launch our Princeton location.
And you guys take a little bit, I mean, I would consider it a different approach than what maybe people would think you do as far as your products. You really take out an approach about the health of and what people can take to help with
chronic
pain or with sleep or, and things like that. So kind of tell us a little bit about your approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has this stigma to it where it's still, the beaded curtains and it's dark and it's dingy
100%.
and it's Rastafarian music and it stinks and there's kind of that stigma out there, and that was definitely something that we did not want to facilitate. We had visited some dispensaries out in Las Vegas when we were out there a couple years ago, and there was one out there called Planet 13, and it was a really, really upscale location. It was like a jewelry store. You walk in and it's, everything's behind glass, and they're really friendly and knowledgeable, and they come out and they help you. But then we went into some other ones that it was like you walk in and there's the menu on the wall and the guy's standing behind the counter. What do you want? You know? And so it was really easy to kind of decide, like, this is the kind of store that we want to be. It's definitely more health-based, wellness-based. We want to tout the benefits and get rid of that stigma, because the majority of our customers, everybody thinks they're, teenagers and college kids looking to party.
Right.
That's not the case at all. 90% of my customers look just like you two. They're coming in for sleep gummies. They're coming in because their back is killing them and they're sick of taking painkillers and things like that. And so the products that we sell there's a lot of great health benefits that come with it, whether it's, sleep, anxiety, stress relief, but also fun too. I don't want to say that, it's completely health-based, because there are times on a Friday night when, people are out drinking and you don't want to necessarily drink or have a hangover or things like that, but you still want to have fun and be social. And so these products just offer a great way of doing that. Everything that we sell in our store is very low dose. It's all legal and compliant with the state of Minnesota. And it's just something we really love, spreading the knowledge of this product, and then also hearing the success stories.
Yes.
We've heard awesome stories of, people getting off, really heavy medication, whether it's, gabapentin for their multiple sclerosis or things like that. Or, gosh, I haven't gotten a good night of sleep in years, and I finally took this Hibernate sleep gummy, and I slept 6 hours, which I haven't done in years, So that's but also, we sell pet products, and we've heard really great success stories of, gosh, my dog.
Cujo.
Yes,
she has
my dog.
Cujo.
Yeah, my dog is moving like he was 5 years ago. He's been very lethargic, and now these dogs are up moving around. Or
what about anxiety for dogs?
Exactly. Yeah, I can't go on car rides with my dog because they're bouncing all over the place. Well, a little bit of CBD really calms their anxiety, and it doesn't intoxicate them in any super way. It just calms their nerves, lets them mellow down, and there's lots of just great benefits that come from the use of these products.
Well, we had a morning networking at your store one morning, and there was somebody there from our chamber who also is a customer of yours. And it really stuck with me because she talked about having migraines for many, 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 many years. And finally found a medication that worked, but it was like $35 a pill. So then she basically would tolerate the headache as long as she could so as not to take that one pill, thinking, like, do I have to take this $35 pill?
I bet it was Imitrex.
And she ended up, coming to visit you guys, and she found a product that helps her migraines and doesn't have to take that $35 pill anymore. I mean, that's huge.
That's great. Yeah, and those are the stories that we love to hear. People love to come in and tell us their successes. And
yes.
That's really kind of what makes it all worth it.
Absolutely, yes. And then, so you said that you have mostly people that are coming in with chronic pain. And so you just, somebody can come in and just sort of have I don't want to call it a consultation, but sort of. They can come in and chat with you about the different things and the different levels of, so you said that they're legal at a certain, like gram or
dosage,
a certain dosage.
Okay.
And so so just so I understand, so they're at a certain dosage, and then you maybe would need to take more than one or more often, or how does that work depending on the situation?
Sure. So every situation is unique and every individual is unique. And we kind of say that as well. So if someone comes in, the first thing we're going to ask them, is what are you looking for?
Okay.
Are you in pain? Are you tired and not sleeping? Are you just looking for some fun?
Yeah.
Are you super stressed out? Like what's going on?
All of the above.
Yeah.
Sure. And then the next question is, okay, what is your experience with these products? Are you a regular user? Have you never used them before ever? And then that can kind of gauge us as far as dosage, which we would suggest. So like, depending on what their symptoms are, what they want to treat, we direct them to different products. If you've got pain, we've got a great cycling frog gummy. I thought about some cycling frog drinks, but I don't. But the cycling frog gummy is our #1 seller in our whole store. And the reason being, it's got a heavy dose of CBD in addition to the THC. So when you pair those two cannabinoids together, it's called the entourage effect. They kind of amplify each other's effects and make them a little better. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, stress, relaxation.
Okay.
So when paired with the THC, which is a great pain reliever and mood enhancer, they amplify each other's effects. So the cycling frog gummy is like taking a THC gummy and a CBD gummy together, but it's just in one. And they
Okay.
pair really well together. They're great pain relievers.
So what if you're already on medication and you take this?
We're not doctors.
Right.
That's what I always say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not an expert on medication, neither is my staff. We always recommend checking with your doctor.
Okay.
Now, the overwhelming majority of medications are fine. There are no side effects with this stuff. THC in general, you could eat everything in my store and you're going to get sick from eating too much sugar and you're going to
Like
fall
not
asleep.
feeling well.
Yep, that's one of the things that we really kind of love about this stuff. Like, you could take, you're never going to overdose.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And so basically, when people come in, we try to pair them with the best option that they need. If they need a sleep gummy or things like that. The state of Minnesota regulates us to sell 50 milligrams of THC per package, and that's fairly low dose. It's almost like 3-2 beer. If you
Okay.
go to Michigan or Las Vegas or any other licensed or states that have licensed dispensaries, the majority of time a default gummy is going to be 10 milligrams. So basically ours are half strength, but that's really great because it allows people to really kind of gradually ease into things. If you're
Right.
only taking, a quarter or a half of a gummy, you're getting a really, really low dose of THC. Everybody has a horror story or knows the horror stories of somebody that took too much and had
Yeah.
a really bad experience about it. And honestly, it comes down to the vendors not giving their knowledge
The
to these
education.
customers, absolutely, or the customers not listening to what they're telling them. I mean, that happens too. But overall, when people come into our store, we want them to feel welcome. We want our staff is knowledgeable, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction to use our products to treat whatever you're looking for.
Well, and I think too, you kind of talked earlier about that stigma. My kids who are in their 20s have all talked to my husband and I, and they've said, it's your generation. Like, you guys are
think
just,
so.
you just have this like Cheech and Chong type of viewpoint of it. And, because, I just would get all worried and, don't do that. Where are you getting it from? And, but how do you combat that? I mean, because I do think it might be a generational thing. Although you're saying
absolutely.
most of your customers are us.
Yeah,
but-
or like people that are like, oh, I don't want anybody to see me walking in.
Sure.
You know.
And it's kind of 3 generations that we kind of deal with. So
Okay.
your mother or father, those age people, they come into my store too
Yes.
sometimes. We've sold 90-year-old women sleep gummies, things like that. But that generation really has that stigma against it. And they are really kind of, this is very bad. Your generation is a bit more accepting. It's been around. It hasn't necessarily been accepted socially, but it's present. You're familiar with it. You know that it's not going to make you go. What was that propaganda film in the 20s? Marijuana Crazy, or oh gosh.
Oh.
It was a propaganda film, and basically made it look like these people were loopy, you know?
Yes.
You took a hit of a joint, you're going crazy.
Yeah.
And so your generation is familiar with it, knows that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
That next generation is even more so. Now it's even more accepted. These people are growing up with stores everywhere.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
It's
been
normal.
legal since they've been children.
Right.
And so I think to combat it, it's kind of naturally happening. And I'm sure the alcohol industry probably went the same way
Yeah.
after Prohibition ended,
Right.
you know, in the 20s.
Yeah.
It was kind of frowned upon, and by now it's just gradually accepted and it's everywhere. So I
Yeah.
think with time and exposure, that will come.
Well, and then you also have another thing I learned visiting your store was that, you know, you think of it as either smoking or gummies. You
Sure.
have tons of products. I mean, there
Absolutely.
was popcorn, there's
Yes.
pretzels, there's chocolate bars, I believe. There's, you know.
Popcorn?
Yes. So when Minnesota
That would
you
get,
even-
that would get me in trouble.
when Minnesota first passed our possession laws, it was only legal in the edible form. And so now they're just starting to get to the point where dispensaries are opening up and selling actual marijuana flower. But for these first 3 years, all we could sell were edibles.
Okay.
Now, of course, the gummy is kind of the most popular default option that everybody goes to. But yeah, we were looking for all different forms. I mean, we've got probably 10 different chocolate bars and all different flavors and types. Popcorn, pretzels, hard candies, tincture oils, which are really beneficial as well. It's a little dropper of oil that you just put right underneath your tongue. It's kind of a concentrated version. It works a little faster
Yeah.
Okay.
than some of the other options. But yeah, drinks, there's all sorts of different forms of THC, absolutely.
Do you have like lotions?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So currently, the way our store is set up, we are a hemp retail store. So we're not allowed to sell any THC topicals yet.
Okay.
Now that is coming, but we've got some great CBD options that work really well. We've got, you know, a roll-on pain balm that has the kind of the Bengay like lidocaine on it, so you
Yeah.
can really feel kind of the minty. We've got everyday use lotion that we use. You got salve that you can rub directly on areas that are really bugging you.
So like on that roll on with the like that minty kind of
Like Biofreeze
but it's
kind of?
also an additional CBD.
Correct. Yep. And there's I want to say 1,250 milligrams of CBD in the entire bottle, which is CBD is not intoxicating.
Yeah.
So something like that, it's just very effective at helping with inflammation and pain relief on areas. Sometimes my lower back's killing me.
Yes.
And I'll rub that on and it works miracles. And I don't just say that either. but
Yeah. Oh, I definitely want to
We've
try
gotten
that.
a lot of great feedback on our pain relief products as well.
That's
our
very
topicals.
cool.
Can you explain the difference between CBD and THC?
Sure. Great question. They're both cannabinoids. They both come from the marijuana plant or the hemp plant.
Okay. What's the difference between those two?
Sure. So, well, great. Yeah. Hemp was federally legal. And so marijuana is federally illegal. You can get the cannabinoids from hemp, but it's at a much lower amount.
Okay.
So if I had a marijuana plant and I got all the THC out of it, I could make 50 candy bars from that one plant.
Okay.
With a hemp plant, I could maybe make 3. And so it was but it's the same THC products.
Oh, it
There's
is.
just
Okay.
much more THC in marijuana than there is hemp.
Okay.
But hemp is federally legal, so you can grow it everywhere.
Like always has been.
No.
No?
As of 2018, that's when the U.S. government passed the Farm Bill, which legalized hemp at a percentage. In order to be legal, it had to have a THC percentage of 0.3% or less.
Okay.
Now, so you would take all the THC from this hemp plant and you would make your product. If a gummy weighs 5 grams, 0.3%, it has to be under, whatever that 1.5 milligrams basically is what it would have to be under. So it's kind of was a workaround in the laws in 2018. They opened up this loophole, and now people could get THC from hemp. Now this industry sprang up. Drinks are now for sale, gummies are for sale, things like that. Whereas marijuana has always been federally illegal. And so states have had edibles and things like that, but they weren't legal to sell in Minnesota or nationwide. So that's kind of the main difference between hemp and marijuana.
Okay.
Now,
But is it the same plant then you're saying?
They're like cousins.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
they look really similar. Now, marijuana is much stronger than hemp
Yeah.
is. Hemp has a lot of industrial uses as well, clothing, paper, rope,
Yes,
things like that. You
okay.
can do kind of a lot with the hemp plant. Can't necessarily do all that with the marijuana plant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I know. It's so interesting.
Okay, so THC and CBD.
Sure. So different cannabinoids come from these plants and they have different effects. THC is kind of what everybody has grown up with. That's the intoxicating part of the plant that makes you feel really happy and relaxed.
Okay.
CBD is a cannabinoid that comes from a plant. It's non-intoxicating, but it also has great health benefits. That's the one that's really effective with inflammation. It's
Okay.
great for stress and anxiety. It really kind of just lowers your stress levels, allows you to relax. It's really a great sleep aid. And so when paired with THC, they work really well together. But we also have products in our store that are just CBD only, whether it's for jobs or things like that. If somebody has to take a drug test and they're not allowed to have THC, we do have CBD products that they can take and they will feel, a lot of the same health benefits
Yeah.
that they would from marijuana, but without having to take it with THC.
So is there different, so CBD, is there different types of that? Like, or if you just take CBD, is that gonna, make you tired?
Sure.
Or, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
is there like an upper,
So not necessarily with CBD itself. There
Okay.
are other cannabinoids in addition to CBD and THC. I know you guys had the liquor store
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and here we're talking about CBN.
CBN, yeah.
Yep. CBN is a cannabinoid just like CBD, non-intoxicating, but that's the sleep cannabinoid. That's the one that's really effective at
The
making you tired.
CBN.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
for sleep.
Yep.
Okay.
There's another cannabinoid called CBG, and we sell those gummies and tinctures, and that's for clarity and energy and pain relief. Yeah.
Ooh.
And so it's not necessarily an intoxicating cannabinoid like THC, but this one is very effective at, making you happy. It's a nice mood enhancer. It clears your mind. And I don't want to say it doesn't give you energy per se. None of these products give you energy, but it makes you clear, makes you focused,
Yeah.
and it makes you happy. So it can take a task like cleaning your garage or something. It's not going to give you energy to clean your garage, but it will make cleaning your garage a lot less crummy, a lot less
feel a little
boring.
happier
Yeah,
about it.
Exactly. It's a mood enhancer. So there's multiple different cannabinoids in the plant. They all work really well together. It's called that entourage effect. And so at our store, we sell products with these different cannabinoids. Our sleep gummies have THC and CBN. We've got some daytime use gummies that have THC and CBG. And so they're meant to be used together for just different effects, things like that. Now, when you get over into marijuana, there are different strains of marijuana as well. So there's sativa and indica. Sativa is the uplifting, happy.
This is the THC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Uplifting, happy, giggly. Kind of would make you laugh,
Yeah.
make you hungry. That one will give you the munchies. Indica is the other end of the spectrum. That's the one that's going to make you, we say indica, in the couch. That's
Okay.
going to make you relaxed, mellow. If you're looking to wind down at the end of the night, you're going to want to go with that type of strain. It's also a great pain reliever. Anybody that's looking to use cannabis for pain relief, you want to go with an indica strain. And then there's the hybrid option, which is a cross between the two. It's not going to make you giggly. It's not going to put you to sleep. It's just a nice, pleasant, intoxicating effect that's kind of a middle of the road, similar to having, a glass of wine or two.
Yeah. Just
So
mellow.
speaking of a glass of wine, I wanted to ask about that. Like when you have a few drinks, shouldn't get in the car and drive. Same with these products.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Treat it like alcohol, 100%.
Only the THC? Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if you take a CBD gummy, you're going to be fine. That's not intoxicating.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
if you are taking THC, we recommend to treat it just like alcohol. And just like alcohol, there are different tolerances and it affects people different ways. Yeah. If my wife were to drink one of these beverages, she would be out like
Yep.
a light in 2 hours. Whereas, it would take a couple of beverages for me to do that. So my tolerance is a little bit higher than hers is. And so that kind of works that way for everybody as well, just like alcohol. Some people can sit at a bar and drink beer all day and drive home, and some people go in and have 2 beers and they're done.
Yes.
Ready to go, you know? So yeah, it's just like alcohol in that aspect. And we
So-
always recommend to not drive on these products.
And so these THC drinks are becoming really popular.
Definitely.
And I think from what I hear, it's you don't have a hangover from these
Correct.
products. So you can, and so would you say in the drinks that you brought today, these are going to be mostly ones that you would you'd be socializing with people, and it's not going to put you to bed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you take too much of it, just like alcohol,
It will.
make you want to go to
Okay,
bed. Yeah.
okay.
So dosing is very important, and
Mm-hmm.
that's probably like if you're going to be using them socially or casually, you're going to want to know what your dose is or what you can handle.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend, starting with a 10 milligram drink, right out of the gate if you're a new user, and you're looking to socialize. Now, if you're looking to wind down at the end of the night and go to bed, that will work just fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're trying to go out and have just a couple with your friends or something, you're probably going to want to start low and slow with this is a 5 milligram drink from Surly, having one of those.
Surly's making them now.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness! Almost every brewery in Minnesota has their own version of
Wow.
them. Yeah, I'm a regular customer of Sunken Ship,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
all the time like, we should make a Mellow Fellow drink, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we should partner on something
That'd
like
be
that.
so cool,
I agree,
Joe.
I agree. So let's get that bug in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
But you're exactly right. I mean, about half of the drinks in our store come from Minnesota breweries. So
Okay.
there's
Cool.
Liftbridge Brewery, there's Surly, there's Head Flyer Brewery, which is down in the cities.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
And so a lot of those breweries are creating these drinks now, and it's meant to be a social tonic, just like any other drink.
Okay,
But it's
so-
also meant to be taken in moderation.
Exactly.
Right, just like any other drink. And
Yep.
are they is it a beer flavor or is it
There are some.
I mean,
that are
it's
beer
like,
flavored.
it depends.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's
because I see
all
that one
different
says
types.
THC tonic lime.
Yes. So this is 0 calories, 0 sugar. Tastes just like a LaCroix water. Like it's like a lime flavored, just bubbly water. And that's what that
Wow.
one tastes like.
Okay.
This one is a full strength soda. 160 calories. It's got lots of sugar. Tastes great. It tastes just like, similar to an Orange Crush.
Yeah.
Or things like that. This one is made with real fruit. So this one has orange and mango. It's a puree that they then add the THC to, and then they sparkling water, and it kind of creates this sparkling tonic. Yeah, these ones are excellent. They're one of my favorites. So there's all different types. These ones are made with real fruit juice as well. This one is not sparkling. It's just a blueberry lemonade. And so there's all different types as far as carbonated, not carbonated, tea,
Right.
lemonade, soda, 0
I
calories, no
see.
sugar.
Because you can basically put it in whatever.
Correct. Yes.
Oh.
These are going to take over, I feel like.
They have been extremely popular,
Mm-hmm.
and Minnesota is really leading the way nationwide.
Really?
Yep. When we launched 3 years ago, and the breweries started getting on board and making their own.
Yep.
The entire country kind of took notice, and now you're seeing, basically, if you can make it in Minnesota, you can make it anywhere. All of our drinks are popping up around the country now, and
Very
these guys
cool.
are getting really, really popular, and that's one of the reasons why we're not necessarily freaking out over the recent ban that just.
Looking to level up your brand, connect with your audience, and actually stand out online? Go Savvy Social is your go-to partner for powerful, polished, and authentically you marketing. From creative content and brand strategy to fresh ideas that challenge the status quo. They don't just do social media, they disrupt it in all the right ways. Want to be seen, heard, and remembered? It's time to get savvy. Go Savvy Social. Learn more at GoSavvySocial.com. Are they you can buy these in a bar? Or not all bars, some bars?
Some bars.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of bars actually, but not all bars
Okay.
yet. It kind of comes down to the ownership, and then also whether they want to apply for the licensing.
Okay,
and things
that's
like
what I was
that.
gonna
That's
ask.
License, okay.
required to sell these. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so you have to have a separate license from the alcohol permit.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And as of the last couple of years, it's been, sign up on this online form and boom, you're good to go. But that changed in October. Now it is now closed, and you need to apply for a hemp license, just like any other cannabis license that are now available.
Oh.
Okay, it's
Yep.
a little harder.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a little more regulation to it, a little more kind of compliance checks, things like that, requirements as far as what's on the packaging and things like that.
Oh, go ahead, Mary.
So I know that you touched on this a little bit, but so somebody who is like, I'm going to go out with a group of friends and I'm gonna replace beer with this.
Sure.
You still only want a couple. Like you're drinking it slow. You're not like slamming it like people will slam
But the
a
thing
Busch
is,
Light.
it's like lime. I mean, like a soda. That's what I picture.
Yeah.
And you want like 5 of them, but you can't have 5 of them.
Sure. So they make different strengths for that exact
They
reason.
do?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. So now there are 2 milligram drinks that are out there and exist. We don't currently have any in our store. 5 milligram is the lowest that we sell. But there are half the strength of these 10 milligram ones. So you can drink 2 of these for every one of those.
Okay.
So now if you were going to have 2 of these, now you can have 4 of those, things like that.
Okay.
So it does come down to tolerance level
Right.
again. Also, there are a lot of great recipes in mixing these and making up mocktails and things like that. Combining this lime with some sort of soda or things like that.
Right.
And you can kind of pace yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
You don't have to take the full strength version. You can
Half
kind
of it or
exactly,
whatever.
and prolong your night a little more.
Okay.
If that's what you're looking for.
But the recommendation is not to drink alcohol and a THC drink.
Correct. Yep. You typically want to do one or the other unless you're a very experienced user.
Okay.
Now, another thing we sell at our store, in addition to our shots. So it kind of the other end of the spectrum, if you're not looking to prolong your night and you just want to kind of catch a quick buzz before
Yeah,
you go to bed or
right.
something,
Yeah.
it's a 10 milligram THC shot. You take that, and now that kicks in much quicker than it would take to,
Be sipping on
sip on a soda and things like that, and a little quicker effects.
Wow.
So there's different kind of effects, different doses, and it's
So
kind of crazy, fun industry.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
So you've become an expert then. Like anybody can walk in and say, what do you think I need, or what do you think I want?
I hesitate to call myself an expert. I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable
Yeah.
about this just because I kind of have to be.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot since we've opened the store, of course, but I don't claim to know everything though, and I'm certainly not, but I can Google pretty well.
Yeah.
And my friend Google is pretty much an expert in all that stuff.
But when you opened your store, this was, or before you opened, this is how you had to start. It really do a lot of research and
Definitely.
whatnot. So what are you? Are the regulations and rules that you have to follow difficult? Or do you feel like reporting things or whatever you have to do? What do you have to do?
Sure. So they're getting more difficult.
Okay.
Because the state is really kind of honing in on their cannabis program.
Yeah.
When it first opened up, it was kind of the Wild West.
Yes.
There were states, because I mentioned 2018, the Farm Bill
Yeah.
passed, and so now this hemp loophole opened up, and so now it's federally legal. So you don't even have to have necessarily a legal marijuana program, but this product is now legal. So we saw states like Wisconsin, for example, they do not have legal marijuana, but these products are everywhere, and there were no limits to it. So apples to apples, have you guys heard of Delta 8 before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Delta 8.
I've heard of it. I don't really understand it.
Sure.
but-
So that's another cannabinoid that can come from the plants as well. It's very similar to THC, Delta 9 THC. So rewind. Okay. Okay, so the THC that comes from the plants, that's the intoxicating stuff that I mentioned, the most popular. So that is Delta 9 THC, and that's the biggest myth. You had mentioned, what's some of the myths we work with? Everybody comes in, well, not everybody, but there are customers that come in and say, oh, these are the Delta products, and they think that it's not real or it's synthetic or anything like that. So Delta 9 is THC, whether it comes from marijuana, whether it comes from cannabis. That's just the old THC. Delta 8 was discovered probably about 15 years ago. And what that is, it's basically like THC light. It's not as potent as Delta 9 THC, and it's much more kind of a way to ease into it. They make Delta 9 or Delta 8 gummies and vapes and things like that, and it's kind of for new users. But what happened was, apples to apples, Delta 8 is not as strong as Delta 9. But what they did is, because there were no caps, they would make a 5,000 milligram Delta 8 gummy, which is now extremely strong and way
Right.
stronger than just little THC gummy. And so that's kind of where a lot of the horror stories came from, that people would, try these gas station gummies and they're Delta 8, but they just have such a huge, massive dose of Delta 8 that it's overwhelming, and it's kind of defeating the purpose of what Delta 8 was created and discovered for,
Yeah.
as a way to ease into things. But it was federally legal, and so all these retailers were selling things, and
They were eating them like a pack of gummy bears.
absolutely, and sharing them with friends. And so then when we launched, in 2023, end of 2022, excuse me, but people would come in and say, I'm taking gummies that are way stronger than this. My friends are bringing them from Wisconsin, and Minnesota had capped those by that point, and so
Okay.
those were not legal to sell. They never have been legal to sell here since we've legalized cannabis. And so our market is very, very regulated here in our state. And that's just kind of some of the difference. When you try the other cannabinoids and go to these other states and you're seeing this stuff, just be really careful about what you're
Yes.
taking, the amounts, and what's in there.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can be. And, like I said with my kids too, like, where are you getting at? What, what are you doing? That's the thing that kind of worries me. And they're in Wisconsin.
Sure, sure.
So then
Sure,
it's like,
mine is too.
so is yours. Yep.
Yeah, it's still kind of the Wild West over there. They are
Yeah.
getting it dialed in, and with what happened a couple of weeks ago with the federal government, prohibitively banning hemp at the start of next year.
Right.
Those products are going to get reined in, and whether they are eliminated completely or something else happens and they're capped or something, but those products are kind of what caused the public outrage and uproar, and
Okay.
everybody's kind of scared of them.
Now I understand a little bit more.
Okay, so that's this one right here.
Yes, where,
About the 0.4?
about the federal.
Yeah, I'm out of the loop on it.
Sure. So I want to say it was the bill that opened back up the government
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago. And there was language snuck into the bill that basically eliminated any hemp products that were more than 0.4 milligrams. It used to be by weight. It used to be percentage, 0.3 percentage by weight. And so that was kind of the loophole. Now what they're doing is they're making it 0.4 milligrams per product. And so currently, everything in our store, every single one of these drinks, they would no longer be compliant
Right.
anymore. Yep. And so it's going to be a massive hit to the industry if it indeed comes to fruition. Now it's still 11 months away, and basically, like, what I've learned from in my 3 years of being in this industry is it changes often.
Right.
And so we're not panicking yet.
Yeah.
There's still 11 months to kind of fight, and the fight has already started. People are lobbying, people are reaching out to their congressmen, including myself. I've
Because
reached out.
look at what that would do to the people manufacturing it and all those products out there. What's the right answer
Yeah.
in your opinion?
In my opinion, the right answer is what Minnesota is doing, which is regulating the market, requiring caps on things like that, as far as dosage and what is allowed in these products. And I honestly think that's ultimately the way it's all going to shake out.
Yeah.
Despite the federal ban, marijuana is still federally banned as well. And we're seeing stores just starting to open there, and there's many states that still have illegal. And that's going to be the case with this as well. These are not going away.
Right.
They will always be here. What will happen if everything stays as is and nothing changes is the stores that are selling them are going to get less and less because there's going to be issues with banking, taxes, all that. A store
Really?
like Princeton Liquor, for example, probably will not sell those anymore because their credit card processor is not going to be able to take the money for those drinks. Their banks are not going to want to take their money from those drinks, things like that. They're not going to be able to write the expense of this product off on their taxes anymore. So there's a lot more kind of negative effects to the actual business itself rather
Right.
than the consumer. The consumer, you're not really going to notice anything other than it's not going to be available at the liquor store anymore. You're not going to be able to find. You're going to have to go to these certain shops. But as a vendor of it, there's going to be massive implications.
Yes.
And yeah, who knows how things are going to shake out. That's
You know,
kind of one of the
And it's
most
next
unnerving things.
October that you'll know?
Yep.
Or that they'll make the decision?
No, the decision has been made.
That it's happening.
Happening next November is when they're. So we have 1 year technically to sell off our
Change it.
supply.
Oh,
Well, the government is saying to sell off our supply, get rid of our products.
yeah.
But we also have 11 months to change it. And that's really what I do think will happen. I
Okay.
mean, we've already seen legislators that have coming out with plans to save this industry, because you're absolutely right. There's millions of jobs. There's millions
Oh
of
my
tax
gosh.
dollars.
Yeah.
It will affect a lot of people. And I just can't see that money just going away.
Yeah, I
Like,
hope. I mean,
people won't allow that.
my
So-
first thought when I heard about it was the alcohol industry. I mean, that was
Sure.
my first. They don't like that this product is being out
Sure.
there because
Yeah.
people are,
Changing.
turning to this. And so that was my first thought, was that, is this driven by that industry? Are they fighting for this ban? Or I don't know.
Or like pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
Big pharma, the alcohol industry, and then honestly, like the Pepsi and the Coca-Cola of the world, they're also lobbying against these products as well. So,
Why is that?
It's taken away from their sales.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people are drinking something else rather than soda or their products.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Everybody wants a
it's,
piece of the pie.
and it's harming these sales for alcohol vendors, and people are using these as a sleep aid rather than, prescription drugs,
Yeah.
things like that.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of kind of lobbying going on against these products. But now, as an industry, we're starting to fight back a little bit as well.
It's going to be an interesting 11 months because this industry, which is fairly new, has to fight against some big, industries.
Absolutely.
Which will be, that have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So that'll be very interesting. And do you think that eventually it's just going to come down to state regulation instead of like states get to make and away from the federal government, or?
I hope not, because then it would be very similar to cannabis, where,
Yeah.
like I said, you'd only be able to buy these in certain stores and things like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily think is the worst thing in the world either. But just the loss of business, the loss of tax revenue, and it's kind of going back to that whole stigma thing. Like, these
Exactly.
are socially acceptable now, and everybody's
Yeah.
kind of using them, but. There's still a lot of people that are scared by these products and are taking the money from big pharma and big alcohol and things like that to kind of combat these. So,
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just, that is a step backwards as far as the fight to educate people about what they can do and how they can help versus a, stoner type of, thought, that was kind of like in high school, those stoners and,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think ultimately what will happen is reason will win out. Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you always do.
We can implement some caps and some laws that kind of get rid of some of those the products that are way over serving people and letting people abuse this stuff, and really kind of just dialing in, very similar to what Minnesota has done as far as 10 milligrams is the maximum we're allowed
Right.
to sell and things like that.
Yeah, that's great. What about our youth? We kind of started out talking about that. And
Yeah.
so what do you guys do to, do you guys have vapes in your store too?
Nicotine vapes?
Nicotine vapes?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Okay. So how do you, we were talking actually to a couple of economic developers from Sherburne and Mille Lacs, and the Sherburne economic developer was saying that they had just passed a new ordinance in Sherburne County about 16-year-olds no longer being able to sell
Sure.
vapes, and trying to keep adult products out of the hands of,
Yeah.
16-year-olds.
Yep.
So how do you guys kind of combat that?
Kind of very similar to what alcohol does. I mean, you have to be 21 to even be considered for employment in our stores.
Okay.
You technically have to be 21 to come into our store. Now, if a mother is bringing in her child on her
Right.
hip and is just coming in for a drink or a vape or something
Yeah.
like that, we're not going to ask you to leave. But if a mother brings in her 16 to 18-year-old son who's
Right.
looking around and
Uh-huh.
everything, then that's a little different. So 21 and up in our store only.
Okay.
Of course, we require training from our employees as far as responsible serving and how to card people and what to look out for when you're carding, things like that. And just doing the age gating. We've got a great loyalty program as well. 95% of the customers that come into our store are repeat customers, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
And we've got a really great loyalty program. So that allows us also to kind of market to our base and not have to advertised in the newspaper necessarily, or
Right.
put it out in front of where kids might see it,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
be promoted to kids.
And that's the best way to market. I mean, that's your best marketing tool, you know,
Absolutely.
that way anyway. But yeah, because that, you know, I'm sure, was there any kind of pushback when you came to Milaca or Princeton from the community?
No,
Okay.
no. It was very surprising to us. It was kind of something that we expected, and we're
Yeah.
kind of shocked that it didn't happen, but also extremely grateful. I mean,
Yeah.
most people that came in were very kind of curious and hesitant at first, but I mean, we've been here 3 years now. People are comfortable coming in, and the word of mouth has spread. Like, no, they're not scary and stuff like that.
Right.
So, you know, we definitely expected some pushback, but the communities have been great. We could not ask for two better. I mean, Milaca, when we first were opening up, you know, we went to the city council meeting, kind of presented them our proposal, and they were 100% on board and supportive. And then when we were coming down to Princeton, it was the same sort of thing. We mentioned that we wanted to do it. It turns out that the location was in one of the zoning ordinances. You have to be certain amount of feet away from schools,
Oh, yep.
daycares, treatment facilities, things like that. Well, there was a daycare that basically, if you measured door to door, a direct line, we weren't going to be compliant, and we weren't going to make it because we were a little too close to this daycare that was, you know, 498 feet away when it needed to be 500.
Oh.
And so, rather than saying, nope, sorry, can't
Yeah.
do it, the city worked with us, and we're like, well, let's change the ordinance to read, you know, instead of door to door, it's the walking path.
Right.
And so now they had to measure it where, you know, walk out on the sidewalk and down the block and over.
Yeah,
and
not-
now we were
not how the crow
compliant.
flies.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so little things like that has just made it extremely welcoming, and like people want us here, and we advocate that you want us here, because if it's not us, it's going to be somebody else coming in that
Yes.
doesn't care about everybody
This
here.
community.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just looking to make a buck, you know, whereas, you know, ultimately that's, you know, we are too, but
Yeah.
also we live here. Our
Exactly.
kids go to school here, we pay taxes here, and we care about our community. So
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that you had mentioned early on in our talk today, that at some of the stores that you'd visited and the bright light, you know, or whatever, and you guys have really made a point to make it, it's bright in there, it's clean, it's not, you're not walking into like, you know, through the beads,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or whatever. It's just, you know, it just feels like you're in, you
Dark,
know,
smoky.
yeah, it's not like that at all. So, and I know that you've done that intentionally, which I think is another positive thing.
Definitely. My wife gets all the credit for that. She has been fantastic about that. And that was one of the things that we wanted to start. Like, it drives us nuts when we drive through other places and we see THC,
Right.
THC,
Yeah.
gummies, you know, and it's like, come on, guys, let's be tasteful. Like, kids are
Yes.
looking at this stuff
Right.
now.
That's the thing,
It's not like, although I guess it kind of, Budweiser,
Yeah.
you know, I guess it kind of does, but at the same time, like,
Not
we
so much
wanted
anymore,
to-
though. I mean, I feel like it used to be a lot
Yeah.
like that. Now you just see a lot of open.
Yeah. Yeah. But I very much appreciate you saying that. And that is something that we really focus on, is we're not trying to be in your face. Hey, everybody,
Yes.
look, you know,
Yeah.
but we do want to be, you know, clean, bright, friendly, you know, welcoming and things like that. So
And you are, you know, you're killing it. So that's
Thank you,
really
thank you.
awesome. Yeah. Is there anything that we've missed that you want to specifically talk about?
Do you have a website?
we do.
Okay.
So our website is www.themellowfellow.shop.
Okay.
Shop.
Yep. And you can place online orders there for pickup.
Okay.
We did do online shipping, so we would ship it directly to your door. Now the state has kind of tightened up some of those laws and
Yeah.
things like that, although there's pushback against that too. So everything is kind of up in the air currently on that. But you can definitely check out our website. As far as things that I would love to talk about, just big things are coming. You know, we're currently the hemp retail store. But our plan when we open has always been to eventually become a cannabis dispensary.
Okay.
And so we are still working towards that goal. We're getting much closer, and I feel like within the next 12 months, we'll get there.
Okay.
But so big things are happening, big things are coming.
Very cool.
Great.
Yeah, despite the federal bans,
Yeah.
we're not going anywhere. We're not panicking. You know, we're fighting, and that's what we would ask our customers and anybody that uses any of these products to do as well. I haven't done it yet. I wanted to do it before this podcast, but on our website, we're going to put a page where like, how can you support
Yes.
this? How can you fight this ban? And we'll have contact information
Yeah.
for, Amy Klobuchar and kind of some of our representatives and a templated email that, you can just send to them.
Perfect.
And help us fight to make sure that we can continue to sell these products.
Yeah, and even like a phone number and a little script. Here's
Sure.
what you say, because some people it's uncomfortable to call, and
Sure.
yeah, so that's a really great idea.
Yep.
And we will link your website to our podcast and
Yeah.
Awesome.
and do all those things.
What are
too,
your
so-
hours?
So, great question. We're closed on Mondays. That's the only day of the week we're closed. But Tuesday through Saturday, we're open 11 to 8. And on Sundays, we're open 11 to 5. And that's both locations, Princeton and Milaca.
All right.
Okay.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
people should just stop in, ask questions.
Yes,
Absolutely. Even if
definitely.
you're not trying to use the product, come in and check us out.
Yeah.
Get familiar with them. Talk to us and the staff. And yeah, we're not scary people.
Nope.
We love to educate people. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And so happy to have conversations with everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, good.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you being here today. This
Yeah.
is really informative. I know I learned a lot, and I had already kind of heard you speak at our morning networking where I
Sure.
learned a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I've
good.
been learning a lot over the last couple months, but yeah, I mean, there's just so much and
Sure.
so much to remember between, CBD, CBG, CBN.
Yeah, it can be
THC,
overwhelming if you try to
Delta.
take it all on right away.
Yeah.
But if you
Absolutely,
just go in and
absolutely,
talk to you guys and say, "Here's what I'm looking for," this is my back hurts, or I am having trouble sleeping, or whatever.
Or headaches.
Then you don't really have to know all those,
Yeah.
about the plants, and just come in and talk to you and learn.
Yeah.
Yep, and we've
Yeah.
got different options for everything.
Yeah.
Like as far as the sleep gummies, we've got a good, better, and best option.
Exactly.
We've got 3 different types, and
Yes.
same thing with our pain gummies and things like that.
And you have
So-
popcorn.
And we have popcorn. Yeah,
I can't get over
CBD
that.
popcorn.
And
Absolutely.
pretzels. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun to look at all the different things. Yeah.
And bring it to the next family
Yeah.
gathering.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, thank you again. We really appreciate you
Yes,
being
thank
here.
you,
This is
guys.
excellent. Excellent to learn about all of this.
Yeah.
I
So
will come back on whenever you guys want to have me.
very
Absolutely.
good. Okay, we'd love to
Absolutely.
have you back.
Especially
Yes.
like you said, because there's changes all the time.
Yep.
All the
So-
time.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. November, we could be talking something very different.
That's
you know?
right.
So,
yep.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Hopefully
Excellent.
Hopefully not.
All right. Well, until next time, this is Kim and Mary signing off. This is Princeton. Stay here.
Play here.